from the heart of where innovation, money, and power collide. In Silicon Valley and beyond, this is Bloomberg Technology with Emily Chang.
Chang in San Francisco, and this is Bloomberg Technology. Coming up in the next hour, Apple showcased new devices at its Unleashed event while also making the biggest changes to its MacBook Pros in years. We're taking a look at the new lineup and its most dramatic move with its own chips yet. Plus, more than 6.7 billion vaccine doses have been administered, enough to fully vaccinate over 43% of the global population. We're speaking with Moderna CEO Stéphane Bancel in an exclusive interview. And from nearly going broke to $1 billion buyout from Amazon, we're going to talk to the CEO of Ring, Jamie Siminoff, about living under the Amazon roof, new flying home cameras, and the hottest products coming up this holiday season. All that in a moment, but first I want to get a look at the markets with Bloomberg's Kriti Gupta. Kriti, take it away.
Well, Emily, green on the screen today, and it was all thanks to big tech. You can really see the Apples, your Microsofts, your Amazons really leading the index higher. And Emily, when we have a day like that, a little bit of defensive positioning, we do, of course, see semiconductors getting in on that trade. And that's exactly what we saw here. The semis index, the SOX index, up 0.7%. We also had a little bit of risk on sentiment from Bitcoin. It looks like after hours, it is starting to slip from that over 61,000 level. Something to watch as we go into tomorrow's session. But I really want to zoom in on that big tech talk, because one of the things that really happened here in the past couple of weeks was this correction for a lot of these big tech names. But now you start to see them getting a little bit of a renewed bid. Significant for all of these companies, but Microsoft in particular, that's that white line there, now actually returning to its all-time highs. Let's see if those other big tech companies can really follow, like I said, after hitting that correction territory, or I should say pullback territory. Let's zoom into Apple to really wrap it all up. I want to show you what Apple's doing today. Really the best, leading the gains for the S&P 500 and taking with it its supply chain. Remember, we had a lot of those concerns for Apple, those production concerns, the fact that their supply chains are stretched, but it looks like after a couple of days of a little bit of volatility, they are getting that renewed investor bid. Emily, let's see if this sticks around.
All right, Kriti, we shall. Thanks much for that. Meantime, I want to get to that big news from Apple. Its special Unleashed event revealing the company's latest focus is on music, with an update to its Airpods and a big update to the MacBook Pro, including its most aggressive step yet away from Intel chips in favor of Apple's homegrown semiconductors. Joining us now, who else but Bloomberg's Mark Gurman with more on the move. So, Mark, lots to get through today. Let's start with the Unleashed event. What was most significant to you?
The most significant item at the Unleashed event was, of course, the new MacBook Pro. There were sky-high expectations from Apple users, MacBook Pro users for this MacBook Pro, and I'd say Apple met all of those expectations and even a bit more. The new processor speeds and core counts that the company is touting are extremely impressive. These definitely outperform their Intel counterparts in earlier generations of the MacBook Pro. The new display with the notch was also a highlight. Of course, MagSafe charging, the magnetic charger, being able to run apps at these increased speeds, up to 21 hours of battery life on the bigger 16-inch model. Very impressive end-to-end revamp of this new MacBook Pro with the new M1 Pro and M1X chips.
So let's talk about
Max
chips. Obviously, Apple has making this move towards its own chips for many, many years. This doesn't happen overnight. But with these new MacBook Pros, they're taking a step away, perhaps the most aggressive step yet, away from Intel. Talk to us about what that means.
Yeah, so the first Mac chips that they released last year was the regular M1 chip. That's at the low end of the line. That's for the entry-level MacBook Pro, the entry Mac Mini, as well as the entry iMac as well, and MacBook Air. These M1 Pro and M1 Max chips, these are the higher end, the higher performing chips for the higher end Macs. They're starting with the MacBook Pro for that. There still are a bunch of other Macs that they need to update over the next year. You can see these new chips coming to a new version of the Mac Mini, a new larger iMac, as well as a new version of the Mac Pro over the course of the next year, deep into 2022. They always said this is a 2-year transition. We're at the halfway point, and they have basically half the line remaining. So they appear to be on track for all intents and purposes to do that as well.
All right. And a lot of people are excited about new Airpods. And it's not just about music. It's about working from home, increasingly needing to be connected from anywhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The new AirPods, they come in at $180, so they're $30 more expensive than the previous entry-level AirPods, but they're keeping the old ones around, which came out almost 3 years ago now, for $129, $130. So that's the cheapest price for an AirPods at this point, likely to spur sales in some regards too.
All right, will likely be a big seller for the holiday season. A lot of people want those. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, thank you very much. Meantime, another Facebook whistleblower has testified before lawmakers, this time in the UK. Former Facebook data scientist Sophie Jong told British parliamentarians that she believes the social network allows authoritarian governments to manipulate political conversations. Meantime, Facebook released an all-encompassing statement hinting that more negative stories about the company could be coming, saying, quote, "When reporting misrepresents our actions and motivations, we believe we should correct the record." We're going to continue to follow all of those developments. Coming up, Bitcoin inching toward a record ahead of the crypto's first ETF expected to go live on the NYSE Tuesday. We're going to look into that rally and what risks could lie ahead next. And as we head to break, reminder, tech earnings kick off this week. We're going to get reports from Netflix Tuesday, then it's Tesla and IBM Wednesday, and Intel on Thursday. Investors will be keen to hear how forecasts from these companies affect their investing strategies. This is Bloomberg.
We're doubling down on everything in technology right now. It's such an exciting time. What an exciting time to be in our business.
I would say that if you're thinking of buying tech, if you're thinking of buying some of these frothy growth names, first ask yourself, what's my exit strategy?
Growth stocks have had an incredible run. It's just they've been the winners. They've been the drivers of this bull market. I think we're starting to see some cracks emerge that there's probably better places to put your money going forward.
Shares of online real estate marketplace Zillow fell more than 9% Monday. The company saying it would stop buying new homes and work to clear a backlog of properties it already has. Zillow acquired more than 3,800 homes in the second quarter. The Seattle-based company has seen its stock price tumble 27% this year after it nearly tripled in 2020 amid the pandemic-fueled housing market boom. Meantime, Bitcoin and crypto stocks soared to start the week. This as investors await the launch of ProShares Bitcoin Futures ETF, expected to debut on the NYSE Tuesday. Joining us now, Tegan Klein, co-founder of The Graph, a Web 3.0 platform aimed at making blockchain data more easily accessible. Tegan, thank you so much for joining us. So look, are investors right to be this excited about a Bitcoin ETF?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see Bitcoin getting so much well-deserved attention. This comes after the El Salvador news that the country is accepting Bitcoin as legal tender. The increasing number of wallets holding Bitcoin has increased to over 35 million today. And then Fidelity recently reported that 33% of U.S. institutional investors are actually invested in digital assets today. Within the graph, we've seen an increase in the number of inter-rep Bitcoin that exists on other chains like Ethereum. And this kind of speaks to how Bitcoin's getting involved in decentralized finance as well as a multi-blockchain future. And now Bitcoin is up. Yeah.
To be clear, though, this isn't an exchange-traded fund backed by actual Bitcoin. It is backed by futures tied to the cryptocurrency. So does the hype actually match the expectations?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I think it's really important that you're educating the listeners on the fact that this is not a Bitcoin-backed ETF. It is a futures ETF, not a spot-based ETF. And so I do think it is a step in the right direction, but a spot-based ETF would be much more preferred. And I know Grayscale is currently trying to push a spot-based ETF through. So hopefully the SEC approves that as well.
How do investors weigh whether an ETF is a better bet than, say, a platform like Coinbase, which is a publicly traded company?
Yeah, it's a great question. So with Bitcoin, with this ETF that's been approved by the SEC, if you want to bet on the price of Bitcoin in the future, that's a great way to do it. But if you want to hold the underlying Bitcoin asset, the best way to do that is through a platform like you mentioned, like Coinbase or Kraken.
What does this signal about future regulation? Obviously, we're waiting for the shoe to drop, essentially, but we don't know exactly what that's going to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a step in the right direction for not just Bitcoin, but crypto assets in general. And I do hope that the SEC does look to approve a spot-based ETF in the future.
And what is your take on the market dynamics? Obviously, we've seen a lot of volatility, a spike in Bitcoin in more recent days. Things seem to be back on the rise, but still a lot of uncertainty hanging in the balance.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Bitcoin recover from an outright ban in China yet again. We saw a very strong bounce off of 30,000, which is tremendously bullish. And now we have this news that the SEC has pushed this through. So I think it's a really exciting time for the Bitcoin and blockchain ecosystem.
All right, Tegan Klein, co-founder of The Graph. Tegan, thank you so much for joining us. Lots to keep watching. Meantime, the largest assembler of iPhones, Foxconn, has unveiled its first electric car. This is a milestone that could boost the Taiwanese electronics manufacturer's credentials as a serious bidder for Apple's secretive car project. These models are concept vehicles that Foxconn plans to build for automotive customers rather than sell under its own brand. The company agreed in late September to spend $280 million on an auto plant in Ohio from embattled startup Lordstown. Coming up, home security is getting higher tech, but how much is too much? We're going to talk about that with the CEO of Ring next. This is Bloomberg. Connected home technology is getting higher and higher tech. Exhibit A, flying drones for your home. Inside, that is one of the new Ring products Amazon recently unveiled, along with a home robot. But is the home and the world really ready for all of this? I want to talk about this more with Ring founder and CEO, Jamie Siminoff. Jamie, great to have you with us. So that always on home camera that flies through your home even when you're not there. Talk to me about the motivation for this. Is this something consumers really want and need?
So I think what they really want and need is the reason why we built it, which is there are times when you want to see everywhere in your home at every angle, but you probably don't want to have an indoor camera everywhere in your home at every angle. And so we really built it to solve the problem of when you're away from your home and you want to see some angle of your home or something that's going on in your home, giving you that angle, that shot, without having to have an indoor camera everywhere. So I really do think there was like a purpose behind it versus just technology, but I will say it is pretty cool.
What's been the response so far? I mean, how many people are actually interested in this right now, or do you see this something taking off over a matter of years, literally and figuratively?
So, yeah, so I think it might be a new area of home security. It does for I'll say a lower right price for what it does. It's affordable security that allows you to see everywhere in your home. We've seen an incredible response from it. You can even see on the YouTubes of the short segments we've put out on it to just demonstrate the product. I think they're our most viewed segments that we've put on YouTube. So it really has, I think it's captured the imagination of our customers and people, and it really does serve a legitimate purpose that you can understand and benefits your home.
Ring Alarm Pro hits Home Depot shelves exclusively today with a special focus on job site security. What's new and improved here?
So what we did is we were able to put the physical security of an alarm and the digital security that comes with a best-in-class Wi-Fi router, put the two together. And by doing that, we created, other things came from it, like internet backup. And so with Home Depot, we launched a project called Job Site Security, a package called Job Site Security. And so you can go to Home Depot now, and as you've seen with commodity prices, I know I see it all the time here. Lumber prices, all of this, the things on our job site are worth a lot more now. And these assets are sitting there in our neighborhoods. And so now you can have a system to secure them, to give internet for them, a camera on them, lights, and so a full package to secure your job site.
I want to know how you're being impacted by the supply chain chaos. How is this influencing your production? What are the biggest challenges, especially as we go into a holiday season where you need to be meeting the desires of your customers?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly been, it's been a year we've had a lot thrown at us, from the pandemic to now supply chain issues. We just try to keep our heads down over here, keep focused on our mission of making neighborhoods safer, get out the products we can, keep in stock where we can. And so far we've done a great job with that. I'm proud of what my team's been able to produce and keep getting out there. But I think this is one of those years you just got to wait and see. There's nothing guaranteed.
What are the biggest challenges right now? I mean, this is something that every company, every executive is complaining about.
Yeah, I think the challenges are coming from all over, from labor to chips to shipping. I mean, we see it with the shipping yards. It's become a very tough year to deliver. But we've been through a lot of tough times as Ring and as the broader Amazon. And you just keep your head down, keep working on behalf of customers, and keep delivering. And that's so far we've been able to do that. So.
Now, there are a lot of conversations happening now about privacy when it comes to increasing technology encroaching on our homes. And Ring cameras have come under public scrutiny for the eavesdropping feature. They can record conversations more than 60 feet away, and that audio recording functionality is on by default. Why not leave that off by default? Talk to me about the strategy there.
We give our customers very granular ways to secure themselves, from industry-leading things like end-to-end encryption, our control center, two-factor authentication. As you talked about with the audio, it's our customer's choice whether to turn it on or off. We do obfuscation zones, so you can actually put in the camera where you want to see and where you don't want to see. So we've really led the industry on all of the features that allow our customers to use their cameras in the way they want to use them. But obviously, if you're on a large piece of property, you might want to have more distance, more motion detection, have the audio. If you're on a smaller piece of property, you're right on the street, then you can use things like turning off the audio or obfuscation zones, et cetera.
Then there's the issue of Ring partnering with about 2,000 police departments in the U.S., sharing private doorbell camera footage with them, which they can access without a warrant. I understand you've gotten some complaints about this, some legal demands. This is something that other tech companies share, but Ring does not. Can you talk to us about how many users have had their data shared with police?
So that's actually not how it works. We built a system on behalf of our customers to work with public safety agencies like police, fire departments, and others in their area. Those agencies would put out a public request, which everyone sees. It goes publicly on our Neighbors app, as well as other places. And then our customers are able to see that request and either, if they want to share something with the agency, can say yes. If they don't, the agency never sees who saw even the request, which is a public request, for this. So it's a very privacy-centric way of allowing people in communities to work with their public service agencies and public service agencies to work with them in a way that benefits all, while keeping everything private and in 100% control of our customers.
And what about Amazon Sidewalk, this new bandwidth sharing feature that Ring is going to be a part of? Lingering concerns about this as well. How do you enforce that a third party won't take advantage of some of this information that your devices are collecting?
So Sidewalk is the idea of, when I grew up as a kid, I'd walk down the street when my mom ran out of sugar, and I'd get a little sugar from the Blum's house. And, when they ran out of flour, they'd take a little flour from us. It's an extremely, extremely low bandwidth, the kilobits of sharing of bandwidth when, we're using megabits and megabits, that allows you to do things like, if your Ring goes down, that you can now, off of your neighbor's house who's opted into Sidewalk, you could see it and get it back online, or see a motion alert. So it's really a way for neighbors to sort of work together to share their bandwidth when they need to, but it's very small. To me, it's the share the sugar model.
All right. Well, certainly interesting to have you on the show, especially as homes and all of these devices are getting more high-tech, more capable. Ring founder and CEO Jamie Siminoff, thank you so much for joining us. All right, well, the logistics arm of the Chinese e-commerce giant JD.com is planning to set up its own fleet of cargo planes. JD Logistics aims to have at least 100 aircraft by 2030 as it eyes a greater slice of the cross-border cargo market. The company has already won approval by authorities to operate its own air freight business. The CEO spoke exclusively with our own John Liu about the ongoing impact of the global supply chain crunch.
COVID has heavily impacted the global supply chain industry. Many companies have encountered different challenges and difficulties during the pandemic. We've seen the shortage of resources in shipping and air freights. We believe it's a short-term impact, but for the long term, global trade flows will return to normal. We are preparing to set up our own air freight cargo company, which was recently approved by authorities.
The air freight service that you're talking about for JD Logistics, would you buy planes and operate those planes yourself?
Yes, we purchase planes or lease them. The cargo freight operation should comply with the country's local regulations. In the future, we might own air freight companies in other countries, so we might own our own planes or run cargo businesses and comply with local laws and regulations.
How many planes do you think you will need?
By 2030, I would say it won't be less than 100 planes.
Do you have a priority in terms of markets?
In North America and Europe, we will invest massively in warehouse and high-tech automated logistics centers in the next 1 or 2 years. We can provide more support to Chinese sellers who want to do business abroad. China is the world's largest consumer, has a great demand for products overseas.
This supply and logistics story not going away. JD Logistics CEO Yu Rui there. Okay, coming up, veteran Apple executive and the man behind the Genius Bar, Ron Johnson, is back in the spotlight. This time, he is bringing his new company, Enjoy, to the public markets. He will join us next. Plus, a look at booster shots. We're going to be joined by Moderna CEO Stéphane Bancel in an exclusive interview about the latest Moderna news, boosters, and strategies to scale up the vaccine going forward. This is Bloomberg. Welcome back to Bloomberg Technology. I'm Emily Chang in San Francisco. I want to get more on today's market moves with our own Kriti Gupta. Kriti, I believe you're taking us now to China.
Absolutely. Emily, today was a broadly risk-on day with tech really in charge. But I want to show you the best of the trade and the worst of the trade. Let's start with the best of the trade, really. And those are those Chinese ADRs. We know there's been so much regulatory scrutiny really weighing on a lot of those U.S.-listed shares. But hey, take a look at this. A lot of technical analysts saying that even despite that regulatory scrutiny in the background, you do start to see a little bit of a floor, at least when it comes to that NASDAQ Golden Dragon Index. Let's see if it catches a continued investor bid, which is really what you saw today. Shares up over 1.3% in that index. Pretty interesting when you talk about simply how they're doing compared to U.S. tech. I want to show you the downside of that big tech trade today, and that really has everything to do with biotech, broadly down 1.3%. The only part of the tech universe that underperformed. But hey, look at the top 3 point contributors of that index, all vaccine makers, Emily. It has everything to do with the report that suggested that the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine and the Moderna vaccine are going to dominate the non-China vaccine market going into 2022. So really crucial when we're talking about how much success those vaccine makers' shares are going to have as they boost supply to high, middle income, and even low income nations. For a lot of those bulls, they really got their point proven today, Emily.
All right, Kriti, thanks for that. We're going to be speaking with Moderna CEO Stéphane Bancel shortly. Stay tuned for that. More supply chains concerns now, though. Philips has reduced its growth and earnings forecast after global supply chain disruptions weighed on sales in the latest quarter. CEO Francis von Houten told Bloomberg Television it's really a matter of both chips and ships.
It's really a matter of both chips and ships. we have a shortage of e-components, and we see the delays in the shipping industry and the congestions in the ports that probably intensified during the quarter. We saw the biggest impact in September, and that set us back at least 150 million in the quarter.
Now to another company with a spoke in the supply chain, and that is Enjoy Technology. Just hit the public markets today via SPAC. The veteran Apple executive and man behind the Genius Bar, Ron Johnson, betting on the future of connected homes and hybrid work. He is the CEO and joins us now live from the NASDAQ. Ron, big day for you. Why SPAC, and why is right now the right time for Enjoy?
Thank you, Emily. Nice to see you. It's a perfect time for us. We have rapid growth. We're going to start next year with 1,000 mobile retail stores, and we need the capital to support our business partners. So it's a perfect time to grow, and a SPAC was right for us. We started about a year ago to go public via SPAC. We got a great partner, and we're fortunate to have raised about $250 million today to continue on our journey.
Talk about that journey and how Enjoy has evolved, how it's different today from the Best Buy Geek Squad, which is not the right parallel, but it is what many of us know.
Yeah, what Best Buy does is they come to the home with the Geek Squad. It's kind of technical support. What Enjoy does is, I spent a lifetime reimagining the retail experience. I did that at Target, Apple, tried to do it at JCPenney, but it finally hit me, why not bring the entire store to the customer? As I watched Airbnb turn your home into a hotel or Peloton into an exercise studio, what if you bring the shopping experience? And we spent 7 years figuring that out. And so what Enjoy does is we operate a network of mobile retail stores that have inventory and trained people. And when you order like from Apple, you just pick experience and we bring the store to you. And we can do everything in the home you can do in a store.
Now, increasingly, because of these supply chain issues, people can't get what they're ordering. It takes months. How are you seeing that play out? I mean, how bad is it, given how many years you've seen and spent in this industry?
Well, that's what's interesting. I've been doing iPhone launches since the first one. I did those for the Apple stores. We've been doing them at Enjoy. It's very common at the beginning of a launch to have challenges with inventory. That's a little exacerbated this year with all the challenges we're reading about. The iPhones are really popular, but that lasts for a little bit and then you get through it. And then you got to keep moving forward.
Even this one, you wouldn't say that this particular supply chain dynamic we're seeing right now is an anomaly?
I don't really have insight. You can read certain data points from Apple's website, but it's hard to know how constrained it really is.
So if there are supply constraints and consumers can't get what they want, does that impact Enjoy at all? In terms of, They want you to connect the products that they've been waiting for, and they're waiting a lot longer than they have in years past.
Yeah, it does. It affects all of us. It affects everyone who's retailing a product that's hard to find. But fortunately, we've raised a lot of capital. We're going to have a great year next year. We're looking forward to that. Very significant growth as we add more stores. We're expanding to 100 North American markets. That's really exciting. As you know, we serve AT&T in the U.S. We serve Rogers in Canada. We serve British Telecom in the UK. We just got this very disruptive model that customers love. And so I'm super confident as we go forward, we're going to have rapid growth.
So tell us about the future. What companies do you currently work with, and who else do you want to bring on board?
Yeah, so my goal is to become the way the world gets their connected devices. Today the most important things we have are our smartphones, our watches, our computers, our tablets. We're on them for hours and hours a day. But the hard part is making them play together, knowing what apps to do. When you bring a person into the equation, it's game-changing, especially in the home, because that's where it all comes together. So Enjoy delivers a retail experience in the home. 40 minutes on average is how much time people want us to spend with them for free. But we think this is a global opportunity. We're in 3 countries today in our 7th year. I expect to be in most of the developed world in the years ahead.
How do you see the retail experience changing for good now post-pandemic? Obviously, it accelerated a move to online, but there is some excitement about going back to a store and touching a physical product. What do you see as the balance that will live on long term for years to come?
Oh, I'm in New York today as we went public. I went to my favorite stores yesterday, had a great time. I love stores, but it's clear. The writing's on the wall. We're going to go to stores less, and we're going to start online more. The world's got all these new models to innovate delivery and speed. We're one of those, bringing the retail store to you. The future is the home, in my opinion. I just think commerce at home is the future. We used to call it online shopping, but the choice you make, I'm going to shop from home, or I'm going to go to the store, and the home is the next frontier.
And how will Enjoy meet us on that next frontier?
Because we're going to be your favorite place to get your connected devices. So that's our mission. Our ambition is to create, the largest network of mobile stores in the world that can deliver a retail experience in as fast as 15 minutes. And that's what we're working toward.
All right. Ron Johnson, Enjoy Technology CEO. Great to have you back on the show, and congrats on the big day. Meantime, Facebook announced the creation of 10,000 skilled jobs in the European Union over the next 5 years as part of the social network's push to develop a metaverse, the new internet frontier, they say. Its target market span much of Western and Southern Europe, from Ireland to Poland to Italy, but the UK will miss out. Facebook also said it's expecting a record level of advertising during the upcoming holiday season, despite supply chain challenges. Coming up, a look at booster shots. We're going to be joined by the Moderna CEO, Stéphane Bancel, in an exclusive interview to talk about the latest news, when that authorization is happening, how much vaccine they'll produce over the next year. So much to talk about. He's with us next. This is Bloomberg. Welcome back to Bloomberg Technology. I'm Emily Chang in San Francisco. Booster shots, they're the topic of every day. Almost 9 million Americans have gotten a booster dose of the Pfizer vaccine, the only booster that's been authorized by the FDA so far. But the other two vaccines are working their way through the regulatory process, and booster shots are likely to be available for some people soon. To talk more about this, I want to bring in Moderna CEO Stéphane Bancel for an exclusive interview from the Health Conference in Boston. Stéphane, wonderful to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Let's talk about the status of that authorization now. What have you heard on potential timing from the FDA on the authorization for the Moderna booster?
Well, hello, and thank you for having us. So, as you know, last week there was the VRBPAC meeting, the scientific advisors to the FDA, and we're very pleased that it was an unanimous vote to approve a booster for Moderna. Now the FDA is reviewing all the file, and we expect this week potentially the authorization of a booster. There is a CDC meeting which is scheduled this week to make a recommendation, and so I'm hopeful that by the end of the week everything is wrapped up, and by next week Americans who got the Moderna vaccine can get the Moderna booster. The other piece also that we learned last Friday, Dr. Fauci and his team shared data about mixing vaccines, and it was shown that the vaccines can be mixed safely, and that's very good for people who got not Moderna vaccine, but want the Moderna vaccine for a booster because it's of a higher dose. So it has shown lately providing a longer protection for American people.
That was my next question. Do you get a Moderna booster or consider a Moderna booster if you got Pfizer or J&J first, given some of the efficacy data? And what do you want to see from U.S. regulators in terms of approval or, sort of a tacit permission to mix and match doses?
And that's a big question of what will happen this week. The data last week from Dr. Fauci and all the hospitals in the US who did that work is very clear, which is you can mix and match the vaccine, which is not surprising. If you think about it, this is true for flu shots. I don't think anybody remember which brand they got this year and which brand they got last year. And for any other vaccines. And so I think that data was very strong. It also shows that the Moderna vaccine provides a very strong protection. As a reminder, this is the highest level of antibody that you get over time is the Moderna vaccine. And so I'm hopeful that the regulators will allow Americans that desire to get a higher dose of booster for better protection to get the Moderna vaccine.
Why has your application for U.S. authorization in teens taken so long? How worried are regulators about potential heart risks?
So what has happened is basically our application was submitted after the other vaccines, and so by the time it was submitted, there was already a few cases reported. As has been reported by the CDC, with a very big database of data across millions of Americans, the incidence is very, very rare. Those cases are mild and manageable by clinicians, by doctors, and they look very similar between the vaccine. I think the difference is our vaccine was not authorized by the time that data set emerged, and the regulators, as they should, took a very cautious stand to ensure the protection of the American people. I feel very happy that our regulators do their job very thoughtfully and thoroughly to ensure that every American who gets a vaccine gets a vaccine that is safe.
How likely is it then that kids are going to get a Moderna vaccine ever? I mean, not just teens, but 12 and under. You're saying that's eventually a sure thing?
I think it's a higher probability. If you look at it, the vaccine for teens has already been approved in Europe and in many other countries around the world. The US is one of the few countries where it is not authorized yet. For the younger age children, as we communicated previously, we're going to go with a lower dose. So we believe that this should help a lot the regulators, and we're hopeful that the vaccine in the US will be available to American teenagers and American children very soon.
How much vaccine do you expect to produce next year?
So the current plan we have is to get 2 to 3 billion doses out of Moderna in 2022. This is mostly for low-income countries. If you think about it, the total population of the rich country, the OECD countries, is less than 1 billion people. So even if you were to assume Moderna will get 100% market share and that everybody will want a booster, which those two things are not true, obviously, we will need less than 1 billion doses. And so we decided with our board to increase the capacity to get to 2 to 3 billion, because what we need to make sure in 22 is that everybody who wants a vaccine, everybody who wants a booster around the world can get one, so that we can really slow down this pandemic, move into an endemic phase where we'll get most probably an annual booster every year like we do for flu, and live normally without masks, being able to hug family and friends and not be worried about this virus.
Biden administration officials say that Moderna isn't doing enough to increase the supply of your vaccine to poorer countries. Let's talk about the short term. What are you doing to increase supply to poorer countries? And let's say the next 3 months, for example, have you delivered any vaccines to COVAX, the supply facility for poorer countries, or is that still in the future?
So we have indeed partnered with COVAX for 500 million doses. Most of them are going to come in 2022, because in 2021 we were basically obliged by the contracts we had to serve the US, Europe, and other countries, which helped us build manufacturing. Most people have already forgotten that in January 2020, when the pandemic started, Moderna had 0 manufacturing plants and never launched a product. And so we basically used the proceeds of the prepayments from the OECD countries, including the US, to start building manufacturing, which now is being used for low-income countries. We've also done bilateral deals. You have people, in the Philippines, in Peru, in Botswana, and many other countries that have already access to the Moderna vaccine as we speak. And so what we want to do is to just expand that access. We're talking to a lot of different organizations around the world, around low-income countries, to make sure that everybody who wants a vaccine can have access to one.
Do you see opportunity then to accelerate those deliveries eventually, and how?
So in the next few months, it's going to be hard to accelerate because, as you know, making safe vaccine doesn't happen overnight. It's usually a 6 to 9 months process minimum to get the raw material, the machine designed, made, shipped, and installed and validated by FDA standards, to train the new workers that you hire. You cannot just hire somebody and ask them the next day to make a vaccine. It's many, many weeks of training. And so when you put all that together, it takes around 6 months minimum to start changing the curve of your plan. And so what we are doing right now is still increasing capacity. If you look at what Moderna is doing, those are investments we made to get to up to $1 billion this year, $2 to $3 billion next year. And so there's nothing we can do in the short term but to deliver on our plans and on our commitment to COVAX and those low-income countries. And more output is going to come in the months to come. The piece I would like to point out that is not always reported in the media is that the entire vaccine industry in the last 30 days produced 1.3 billion doses. If you think about it, the annual usage of flu shot is 500 million doses for the planet. Just in the last 30 days, the industry produced 1.3 billion vaccine. So if you look at the fact that already 3.7 billion people around the world got vaccinated, we should be a few months away, not years away, but a few months away from having enough vaccines to vaccinate every adult on the world who wants them. The thing I worry the most about is the last mile, vaccination, having the logistics, enough nurses available. If you look at the data over the last few weeks, already the number of vaccinees per day is going down around the world, like we saw in the US in the spring, if you recall. And this is not because there's not enough vaccine. There's a lot of vaccines, so the issue is that there's not enough vaccine getting to people.
Now, something else that the White House has been pretty hard on Moderna about is why not share the formula rather than scaling up production yourself? Why not share this secret recipe with developing countries that could help end the pandemic more quickly?
So I don't think it will end the pandemic more quickly, and I think this is why there's a difference between mRNA technology and other technologies. There is no plant sitting idle with mRNA equipment around the world. They just don't exist. There's never been, as you know, an mRNA product before. So even if we were able to do that, there will be no machine and no people trained in the skill of mRNA around the world. The challenge of doing that, which we looked at with our board very carefully, is it will slow down our ability to make product because it's the same engineers we will have to put in a plane to go to a country, then the ones that are scaling up the capacity that you just asked about. And so that's the trade-off we have to be making. Again, if there was plants available, we will be willing to do something, as long as we can ensure quality. The piece we all care about in those vaccines is the quality and the safety of those vaccines. People that get vaccines are healthy. And so the safety of a product is the #1 priority, and we need to ensure that.
Well, speaking of mRNA technology, you're working on a flu vaccine using that very same technology. Give us an update. When are you expecting data for that vaccine? And if that works, when might that be available?
Sure. So we communicated recently that the study is fully enrolled for the flu. So we will expect in the coming weeks or months, not months, to get the clinical data. As soon as we have it, we will share that with the world. I will expect that data to be positive. Why do I say that? Is we already tested 2 flu vaccines in the early days of Moderna in 2015 and 2016 with old technology, and they already looked very strong. So I expect this vaccine to look strong. And once we have that, we will combine it with a COVID booster. We already have announced that it's in 1 dose, a single shot in the same vial, where you get your COVID boost and your flu boost, so that you need 1 shot of fall, and you'll be having a safe and happy fall and winter.
So will it be in time for this flu season, next flu season?
So the best case scenario is fall of 2023. So what I think will happen is in this booster season, people will get the same vaccine they already got, which is already available in pharmacies as we speak. I think the question we're going to have to settle in the next few months is what is the booster for the fall of 2020 for COVID? Is it going to be a Delta booster? And we're watching very closely the new variants. It might be a new variant that has to be put in the fall of 22 vaccine. And hopefully, as early as the fall of 23, as a best case scenario, we might have a COVID boost and a flu boost in a single shot.
All right. Moderna CEO Stéphane Bancel, appreciate you covering all that ground with us. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back with more of Bloomberg Technology next. This is Bloomberg. The South Korean hit show Squid Game has been toppled as the most watched series in the U.S. on Netflix. The show was in the top spot for 25 days and still remains Netflix's biggest series launch ever, attracting 111 million views since its September 17th release. The new U.S. chart leader is the newly released third season of the thriller You. To each their own. And that does it for this edition of Bloomberg Technology. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We've got another great show lined up. True Optics CEO Andre Swanson will be joining us along with ARK Invest's Kathy Wood. Conversations you don't want to miss. I'm Emily Chang in San Francisco. This is Bloomberg.